Good evening. I am excited to welcome you to our virtual concert, our virtual presentation of a collection of a few choruses from Gilbert and Sullivan Operettas. I decided that as I introduced this concert, it made the most sense for me to introduce it from the space where Diane and I have been for the past several weeks as we've been running virtual Zoom rehearsals for the Virginia Choral Society. This is the chapel of the Virginia Wesleyan University campus. It's where I run most of my choral rehearsals on campus. And so it's a space that I knew well and sort of knew what technology was available. And what's fascinating is that this is really how so many of our members have been interacting with me and with Diane for the past several weeks, is that we would come here. I'm usually not sitting at the piano. Diane is obviously at the piano. And we would run our rehearsals just like this. All of our choir members would log on and we would work through the music. They could ask me questions. We did some polls. We did some different things to make sure that I was working through the parts that they felt they needed the best. What's really cool is that we also found a software that allowed them to record themselves singing and get feedback on how they were doing, both rhythmically and pitch-wise. It's a software that's been developed really in the last few months for choral music, and has really been a game changer, I think, in our learning process, in our preparation, in a situation where for me as a choral conductor, so much of what I do is hear what's in front of me and figure out what we need to do to make that better. And when I can't hear what's in front of me, it became extra important for us to have some form of feedback, so that all of our choir members could know what they needed to do to get their singing sort of to the next level. I think it's been a lot of fun. It's certainly not a regular choral rehearsal, but it certainly has some bonuses to it, some interesting possibilities. That I think, who knows? Maybe we'll need these in the future. Maybe there will be a massive blizzard and we'll need to pivot to Zoom for a couple of weeks. I've really, as I've thought about everything that we do during this crazy time, I really am hoping to find things that we can add to our lives that are going to improve them. Surely some of this we're going to let go of, because goodness knows we don't ever really want to do it again. But I hope that there's a lot that we learn that help all of us become better people and have more tools available to us. So anyway, the song you just heard, we renamed as Modern Choral Company. It's clearly the very model of a modern major general text you heard before. But as I was thinking about how we were really kind of reinventing ourselves in the middle of a lot of uncertainty, I thought about how we could change the text to that song to sort of comically poke fun, but also just acknowledge the reality of the fun new things and the fun new ways that we are approaching life around us. And some of our Choral Society members jumped on board and did a fantastic rewriting of the text that you just heard, and I think it really sets up the experience that we're going to have here today. This is all Gilbert and Sullivan. I decided that for a variety of reasons that we needed a little bit of the cheer and a little bit of the tongue-in-cheekness that Gilbert and Sullivan provides for us. And I knew it was something that we could put together somewhat quickly and also just learn a lot. A lot of them require just a little bit of arranging to work for the kind of SATB chorus that we have. So it's not going to quite sound exactly like it would if it were on the theatrical stage, but I think it works really well for us. The other thing that I think kind of is worth noting is just the whole virtual choir experience, right? So the same software that they use to sort of check themselves every week also gave them the ability to record a video of themselves. So as we got to the sort of recording portion of this, each choir member got the assignments per se that they needed to do, and they recorded their own video of themselves singing their part, listening to the accompaniment and listening to the other choral parts as they did that recording. And then all of that came to my computer and got downloaded and edited and revised and put together into the version that you're going to see in front of you. So this is not a new process that exists in the world. Eric Whitaker pioneered this, I think, almost a decade ago. But that he certainly has, at that time, he had the processing power that was necessary for that. And now we're starting to find that in our laptops and our computer, and our personal computers. So it's certainly more possible. But what you'll see is lots of little windows of every individual singer singing along. And I think it's important to note that every single one of them sang alone, which is such a different experience from the choral sound, but then we were able to put it together. And I think that's some of the magic. The first piece you're gonna hear comes from a lesser known operetta by Gilbert and Sullivan called Rugador, I think is how we say it. It didn't exactly have a lot of acclaim. The plot was a little bit different and maybe a little, I think what people love most about Gilbert and Sullivan is when it pokes fun at the monarchy and at the aristocracy. And this didn't do this as much. There were some curses and there were some family trials and there were past ancestors appearing at different times. And I think that just didn't catch the audience as much as they hoped it would. This particular piece, There Grew a Little Flower, is actually sung as a duet between two of the secondary supporting role characters as they decide to fall in love. Ironically, in the plot, one of them was about to be whisked away by the main character as the consequences of his curse, but they figured out some loophole, as all Gilbert and Sullivan's do, and the two of them were together. So it really is sort of a love song between two individuals that we were able to sort of work out to this arrangement for the full choir to sing. Love prevails, right? The next two pieces that we're going to listen to capitalize on one of the best plot points of Gilbert and Sullivan Operettas, and that is sort of the sea life, right? There's so many characters that end up being sailors or rulers or generals, and then the other characters being sort of on the bottom end of the ship hierarchy, as it were. And so we're gonna perform for you two of those. The first is "I'm the Monarch of the Sea," which comes from HMS Pinafore, which, by the way, rewinding all the way back, and now you're gonna have to listen to it again. In Modern Choral Company, there were two lines that we kept from the original, and that was your little hint. So if you want to go back, you can find them, or maybe you knew them already, but we kept two lines from the original. Everything else is new. That's the best kind of parody, right? Anyway, we're going to sing "Monarch of the Sea" from HMS Pinafore, which is really the story about an individual who had absolutely no experience in naval life, but sort of was able to get himself promoted enough until he became the Monarch of the Sea, and was able to bring his entire oversized family with him. We decided, technically in the original version, all of his sisters and cousins and aunts are aunts. His sisters and cousins and aunts are all female. We decided to add some male cousins as well. So it worked better that way. So we hope you enjoy that. The second one is with "Cat-Like Tread," which is one of my favorite choruses ever from any Gilbert and Sullivan. This comes from Pirates of Penzance, and that's probably why I love it. That was the first Gilbert and Sullivan that I was introduced to. I remember a summer musical event, a music conference, like high school conference, and we put the minimized version of that together. And so I remember it distinctly, and I just think it's hysterical. Anyway, the story with Cat Like Tread, right, is that the pirates are coming to attack the Englishmen and to take all their things away from them, but the pirates are absolutely terrible pirates, and so they're talking about how they're going to come with Cat Like Tread, and they're stomping all the way throughout it. And so it's just a little bit tongue-in-cheek about how we say one thing and then do something completely opposite.
I am the monarch of the sea, the ruler of the Queen's navy, whose praise great Britain proudly tells. And we are sisters and his cousins and his sons. And we are sisters and his cousins and his sons. His sisters and his cousins and his sons. When the head can be right on, my fortune swells with pride, and I snap my fingers and fold these stones. And so do his sisters and his cousins and his sons. And so do his sisters and his cousins and his sons. His sisters and his cousins and his sons. But when the breezes blow, I gently go below and seek the saloon and cabin rights. And so do his sisters and his cousins and his sons. And so do his sisters and his cousins and his sons. And so do his sisters and his cousins and his sons. His sisters and his cousins will be reckoned up by dozens and his sons. With Cat Like Tread upon a brave steel, in silence tread our cautious way we feel. No sound at all, we never speak a word, a fly's foot fall and we distinctly heard. So stealthily the pirates race while the house has done they cease. Come, friends of the sea, toast to navigation, taken on the station, first heavy piracy, with it memory. Come, friends of the sea, toast to navigation, taken on the station, first heavy piracy, with it memory. Here's your crowbar, and your sentiment, your life is over. You may want to hit. Your silence matches, your dark lantern sees. Take your fire and scatter it on a kingdom. With Cat Like Tread upon our brave steel, in silence tread our cautious way we feel. No sound at all, we never speak a word, a fly's foot fall and we distinctly heard. Come, friends of the sea, toast to navigation, taken on the station, first heavy piracy, with a little memory. Cat Like Tread upon our brave steel, in silence tread our cautious way we
All right, the very last piece that we have for you comes from the Gondoliers, and it's Danza Cachuca, which is a lovely piece. serves as a bit of a finale to a portion of the operetta, and is just a delight. And I think it really works well to finish out our little EP concert here that we have for you this evening. As always, thanks for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. As I'm sure you're aware, so many arts organizations right now are really struggling to stay afloat. And the support that you give to us and the support that you give to the arts organizations around you really makes a difference. We know, and I think more than ever now, we're realizing how much we turn to the arts for our emotional and our social well-being. And so whatever support you can give us, whatever support you can give to the other groups in the area, makes a huge difference, especially right now. So thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy Danza Kachuka. Have a wonderful evening.